Well, I got to tell you, I was half expecting the Imperial March to come in when I saw the Imperial aircraft there. God, I'm such a so lost on my. This is the May Roundtable, and hopefully those joining us are now involved in Cub Scouting, because this is the Cub Scout Roundtable section. I just want to welcome you. We're going to run things a little bit differently tonight. Like I mentioned prior, 7 to 7:25 will be the Cub Roundtable. 7:25 to 7:35 will be the joint session between all programs, and then 7:35 on will be the Scouts BSA Roundtable. Once again, thank you for joining us. I've got a special guest tonight. In his short time in scouting, he's done a tremendous work with his local pack, specifically with his den and other dens with him more as time goes on. He's a teacher with the Connecticut school systems, math teacher. He understands technology, and he gets Cub Scouting. So with that, I'd like to welcome Dave Carter. Dave, are you there?
I'm here, Chip. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
And I've got my Space Scout with me too for the holiday.
Well, so what do you have for us tonight?
Oh, let's see. In my short time in the group, I quickly figured out that there are other awards that are just not as easy to find in your handbook. You go to the back, and there's this little thing about extra awards. This is go online to look for it, and I quickly figured out that with a little bit of planning, you can actually knock out a whole bunch of these.
Excellent. So can you go into some more detail about those awards, bud?
Sure. All these can be found online under Other Youth Awards. And the first one that comes up is the Cub Scout Outdoor Activity Award. Now, I know I might be preaching to the Jedi Council here, but this is one that I volunteered at camp last summer, and I saw a lot of kids with it on their pocket, the flap. And once you look over the requirements, like for all ranks, they have specific things, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff you got to knock out. But the rank specific ones, these are all required adventures in your handbook. So if you do one thing, you can just do a couple more things. All of a sudden, the kids earn more rewards. Let's see. Speaking about volunteering at camp, another one is the Cub Scout shooting sports. Now, the really cool thing about this is it can only be done at camp, because camp's going to provide the trained staff. They're going to provide the safe sort of place to do it, and they're going to make sure the kids are successful. And those kids who are able to go to camp, they get that temporary patch, and they can put those pins on it because they earned in those areas, and that's something that not everyone else in the pack has.
Exactly. So this might bring up a couple interesting point. I know is going to be asked in a little while, and rather than wait for it to be asked, I'm going to answer it now. The Connecticut Rivers Council is working diligently with those parties interested to ensure that summer camp may or may not happen. We are working under the impression that summer camp will happen. We have plans in place. However, there are 3 entities that need to respond in the affirmative for summer camp to go forward. We should know more by the end of this week, hopefully, and we will keep you posted. For now, please, if you are a den leader or a cub master or any type of leader, please, please, please plan on actually attending summer camp. Do not assume at this point that anything is canceled. Your scout will get so much out of going to the summer camp program. Just right now, assume that we are going ahead as planned, but just be ready for any chance that it might not. But please, please, please assume that summer camp will be available. Now, Dave, you mentioned the shooting sports awards. did you know that you can re-earn those through each rank through Cub Scouting? So as a tiger, as a lion, or as a tiger, as a wolf, they keep advancing?
From what I've seen online, Chip, and this is one thing that I didn't know this up until my older boy got it. He went to camp last summer, and I honestly, off the top of my head, I don't remember which patch he has for the temporary patch that the pins go on, but they are available from tigers on up. So you can earn it 1 year, then earn it the next year, and have more bling to display. And I've got some kids in my group that they love earning these little things.
Exactly. And the program is stepped up. So as a tiger, you only have to do so much, and as a wolf, you do a little bit more. By the time you hit Weeblo, you're shooting expert, and you know all the parts of a bow and arrow, or a BB gun, or the slingshot, which are the three major principles of the Cub Scout Shooting Sport Award. Are there any other awards that Cub Scouts could earn?
There's a bunch if you got a minute.
I've got about 10.
All right. The next one on my list is the Cub Scout World Conservation Award. And it involves a bunch of other stuff that you're probably already doing, but as long as you participate in a conservation project. And I was speaking I'm in Pack 43 in Killingly, and I was speaking with our bear leader, Amy. She's an awesome party. She runs a great pack. She's got the largest den in our pack. And we're looking over some stuff and probably filling out some award certificate applications for the district dinner. And I said, hey, if your bears make a birdhouse and join our tigers in this conservation project, because back in January, my tigers were heartbroken when we talked about the fires in Australia. So we bought a bunch of these patches. And so the tigers actually sponsored this for the pack. And as long as the bears participated and then they build a birdhouse, they can earn the conservation award. Of course, we all know about the cyber chip that's required for rank advancement for every level. And right now, since we're online only, I think it's a very important badge or award that we should be pushing to make sure everyone gets quickly now, because we're spending so much more time online. You've also got the Emergency Preparedness Award, which is made to be appropriate at each age level. My tigers, for example, would have to do very little in comparison to what the Weeblos or even the bears would have to do, but it's one thing you can earn every single year, and the background of the pin changes. So you could level up with a whole patch of different things. Next on my list would be the Messengers of Peace. I don't know about you guys, but on Facebook, I joined a couple scout groups. And one of the scout groups, it was BSA Families Scouting. It's a nationwide organization, a lot of people in it. And one thing I found, if you ask questions, experienced leaders want to tell you how to do things. And I consider I'm new, so I can ask any question I want. So I put in this forum, I said, hey, for my tigers, what is an age-appropriate Messenger of Peace award? And immediately everybody was like, trash day. It was trash day. Like over and over and over again, trash day. And I'm like, but we did that last year as Lions. Holy, we could earn another award because we did this. And we're going to do this. And hopefully we'll be doing it again when this all clears up. I know there's plans in place. Pack 43 is going to be cleaning up one of the nature conservatories in town. Of course, there's a National Summertime Pack Award, which this is something that you're going to work together. If I, as a den leader, said, hey, I want the pack to earn this, I need to bring the other adults in. I need to bring the other kids in. I need to meet with my den leaders. I need to meet with my cub master. I need to meet with my district, my committee chair. I need to be like, hey, we should plan to earn this. And the best part is we probably already are. We just didn't know that. Nova and Supernova. The council had 3 programs last week. My older boy did it. He earned all 3 Novas last week because we just put it around the whole in distance learning. And this 3rd grader learned so much more science from the Scout program than he did from his school. And he enjoyed it.
Dave, so one of the things that I find is misunderstood and not very well understood is the Nova program. Could you go in just a little bit more in detail and let people know about the Nova program? Like, what did your son earn, and how did he have to earn it?
Okay, I want to make it clear, I am not an expert in this by far.
Absolutely not.
And I got a thing that mentioned about that too before I get to the next one. But for the Nova thing, this is honestly what happened. the council put it out there saying, hey, new things are up, sign up for them. And then your friend and mine, Jenny Roberts, tagged me in it and said, hey, you should get your boys to do this. And originally I thought my den, because I got tigers, they're too little for this. And she goes, no, you're older one. I'm like, oh yeah, duh, I got 2 kids. And so I shared it with his group. I shared it with the adults, the parents of that den. And I think we got a handful of our own kids in this program. Mm-hmm. And it was an hour each session with homework and other stuff. And it was led by, I believe his name was Mark. I forget it. And I apologize. He's probably watching. But it worked out really well. And there was 3 different topics, from the scientific method to symmetry in nature to, scientific experiments. And he really enjoyed it. And all of a sudden, he's going to get that temporary patch, and now he's got 2 of those little pi symbol triangles to put on it for extra pins in a week. I mean, it's awesome.
That is awesome. It's also, it really, boy, I got to back up a little. It really helps expand the program opportunities and knowledge of STEM. And I'll tell you, in my time of scouting in the last 10 or 15 years now, not many kids, or it doesn't seem like many kids, have really worked on these STEM awards. And it is a little known secret of the BSA. And I think more kids should take advantage. And the gentleman that you're mentioning, his name is Mark Niosi. And he set up a few more of these programs for the next couple of weeks, I believe, to run. I've got to double check the ConnecticutScouting.org website and just double check, but I know that there's more coming. There's plenty of other opportunities for Cub Scouts forthcoming. Some of those will be mentioned in just a few minutes. So, awesome. Anything else that is of interest for Cub Scouts to earn?
Yeah, I got 2 more, and these come with personal stories. Now, I live in Danielson, so I can, like, that way is Rhode Island feet, okay? And to get to the East Hartford shop and headquarters, that takes a special trip. Like if I'm going out, like taking the kids to the Science Center, oh, let's stop at the store. But going to Warwick, that's like 20 minutes that way. So I go there, and I mentioned in my pack, I say, hey, I'm going. Does anybody need anything? And then, of course, the advancement chair is like, yes, here's what you need. And then you go there, and then you explain, oh, I'm not in your council. Let me fill out the paperwork so you know that isn't going to come out of your records and stuff. And back in leading up to Scout Sunday this past year, I was thinking of talking to my kids, and we mentioned, of course, it's found in the book, and the book briefly says for the duty to God that, oh, and you could earn the religious emblem for your age and beliefs. Excellent. But that's all it says. So we have a small church. Last year, we started a thing when I was my first year in. The PAC was having Scout Sunday at St. James Catholic Church downtown. And I said, well, what about us Protestants? And they were like, well, if you want to set something up, go for it. So I did. And our pastor's been having us back every year. My church is small. It doesn't have a Sunday school program. So I put my head together with the pastor. And then I went to the Scout shop. I said, okay, I need more information. I can't find what I want online. And I got some information from the Warwick shop. I got some information from the East Hartford shop. I finally got in touch with Mr. Lee, and the program that we put together worked. And it was so easy once we got everything ironed out. And if we hadn't gone to the shops to get the information from the people who actually sell these items, I don't think I would have been as successful. I wouldn't have had all that background information. That leads me to the last one I want to mention is one of the Scout Strong patches you can get. A temporary patch. It goes over here. And this was one that I went to this, I was looking at the requirements, and it's eat healthy, have water as a thing, make sure they're active. Okay, they're first graders. It's hard not to make them active. Hey, guys, sit down and do this thing. And they're all running around the church or wherever we're meeting, and they're having a blast, which is, scouting needs to be fun. And they're actually qualifying for an award while they're doing it. So that was the route we went. And then I went to the Scout shop in Warwick. They didn't have the patch. I went to the Scout shop in East Hartford. I found the patch finally, but it took a while. So one thing about all these awards, as you plan with your parents, with your pack, make sure the award is available. because it would, personally, as a kid, I would be very disheartened if I did all this work and then all of a sudden the adults went to buy the award and they couldn't find it.
Absolutely.
So that's what I got.
So I just want to bring up a couple of points in conjunction with what you just said. The Scouting Religious Awards are available through the Catholic Committee on Scouting for the Catholic faith, and they're also available from praypub.org, PRAYPUB.org. Most every faith does have a scouting religious emblem associated with them. However, these awards are not offered by the BSA, but they are supported by the BSA because the Boy Scouts of America wants everybody to express their religion in their own way. So rather than dictate which award they need to earn, they earn their faith. Now, this is, interestingly enough, the very first emblem that a Cub Scout can earn and wear it on his uniform. I don't have the knot on me. I didn't earn it as a child, but I ensured that all of my children have earned their subsequent knots. They can earn it as a Cub Scout and wear it all the way up through adults. This is the first knot that you can earn on your own, by your own volition, and wear it throughout your lifetime. The second knot, of course, is the Arrow of Light. And then the other award that you could earn, but usually you're not out looking for a problem, is the National Award of Merit, or the Heroism Award has a knot. And that's for, outstanding acts above and beyond the call of duty. And I've seen a couple of kids with that, but thankfully there's not a lot of, that's a special award. There are other awards that Cub Scouts can earn, especially in in Connecticut. There's multilingual people. Cub Scouts can earn the interpreter strip. If a Scout's first language or second language isn't English, and they have another language, they can earn an interpreter strip even as a Cub Scout. So that's another opportunity. And the final one I want to mention tonight, before we move on to a couple of other points, is the recruiting strip. Even though we're in the midst of a national pandemic and we're all still waiting to, is the government going to open the country up, or is the country not opening up? Cub Scouting continues. Scouting continues. This organization has done wonderful things for communities, nations, organizations, and we continue to do things. There's great innovations going on by the council to keep kids active, to keep kids interested. Why not ensure that you guys have your Scouts bring a friend to your next virtual meeting? Try to do some recruiting, because that recruiting strip under the pocket goes a huge way. My kids have all recruited a Scout into Scouting, and when they receive that recruiter strip, their faces just beam with pride, and it's a really easy award to get. You just bring a friend, have them sign up, and bingo, bango, boingo, they've got another recruiting strip. And I just think that's very important, and people need to remember that even though we're shut down or locked down, kids still need things to do, and Scouting continues. Dave, is there anything else you want to finish off with, or?
No, Chip, you brought up. I'm amiss that I missed those two awards they can earn. And once again, it's things that they're probably already doing. They're
Absolutely.
telling their friends, "Hey, I'm in this group. We have fun. It's awesome. You should come too." And on the interpreter strip, gosh, I mean, my dog understands 2 languages. They can speak to other dogs and us sometimes. Yes. I mean, I'm not that fortunate. I really wish I had that ability. So.
Well, if we all spoke dog, we'd understand what our dogs were thinking.
And make sure it speaks Bocce.
There we go. So we're at 7:20. We're actually, wow, we're doing a great job. So I'm going to move ahead a little bit so we can let our keynote speaker have a few minutes. But I'm going to kick it over to our esteemed, well, actually, let me give you a few minutes, Dave, so that our other guests who have time can join up when as our Scouts BSA members join up. We don't throw things too far off. So just give me one more minute. I want to mention the Scout On CRC initiative that we have going on. If you, especially for Cub leaders who may or may not need help or information to put on virtual programs or what to do during this COVID-19 lockdown, we're here for you. But we need to know what you need. There's been a survey sent out for everybody to answer to see if you guys need help. But there's also a scoutoncrc@gmail.org, as well as a phone number for you to call or text, I should say, if you have needs. And that will be put up on Facebook shortly, because I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can tell you that if you were to email scoutoncrc@gmail.com with any questions or any comments or anything that you need help with, we will do our best to immediately get answers for you or get the help you need. This is being brought to you by the Connecticut Rivers Council's Commissioner Service, one other program for you guys to succeed in your program. And with that, I think I've killed off 1 minute. Let me just mention the Connecticut Rivers Council Cub Scout #challenge. There is a PDF file of the calendar that you can now access on Facebook. The calendar is on Facebook, and it was sent in the Connecticut Scouter today. Each day that a Cub Scout has a new task that they can complete, take a picture of it, share it on Facebook, and now, oh my Lord, we have a Connecticut Rivers Council Instagram, and you can follow us on Instagram at hold on, it's right here. It was right here at CT Rivers. Somebody want to give that to me? Where am I? Give me a second. All right, CT. Why isn't it telling me? Here we go. No. But anyways, we now have an Instagram page. Somebody will share it with me. Follow us on Instagram. So as I was saying, the Connecticut Rivers Cub Scout Challenge. Take a picture of their daily task, put it on Facebook, put it on Instagram, hashtag it, tag us in it, and we'll share your picture with the rest of the world. And we've also got, where in Connecticut is Flat Cubby? You guys are doing a great job finding Flat Cubby. I hear Flat Cubby's going to be having some really tough challenges coming up, and keep an eye out for his sister, Paper Thin Pauline. She's joining the clan really soon. She should be getting printed up any minute now. Their adventures are awesome. They're having a lot of fun going about and visiting all the places in Connecticut that we invite you to visit as opportunities arise. And with that, oh, there it is. There is our new Instagram handle, CT Rivers BSA. Once again, CT Rivers BSA. Please follow us on Instagram. Please follow us on Facebook if you're not. Well, obviously you are if you're watching this right now. With that, it is now time for our esteemed Council Commissioner, Mr. R. David Lee.
Thank you, Chip. I appreciate that. Hello and welcome to everybody. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to attend this, our second virtual roundtable. I also want to express my gratitude and appreciation for all you're doing to ensure scouting continues through this unique time in our lives. And I'd also like to thank Chip for coordinating this effort, along with our stellar professional staff and even Kevin, because Kevin needs appreciation. Scouting teaches young people how to be resilient. If there's ever a time for this program we support, it is now. In addition to being prepared, we need to embrace the idea of flexibility as well, which many of you I'm sure have. We've embraced this technology and have even had fun with it, from an online merit badge program to virtual camporee, and more online events are coming this month. The safety of our scouts, volunteers, and professionals is paramount. As the state and region begins its transition, we need to ensure we follow the orders put in place and the recommendations from federal, state, and local governments, as well as those from BSA, National, and Council. Units will want to become more active as the weather continues to improve. We would caution everyone to ensure they follow whatever guidelines are that are in place at the time to protect everyone. Now, to the topic of camp. We understand that everyone is wondering what is going on to happen this summer for camp. At this point, we are still waiting for updated summer camp regulations from the Office of Early Childhood and the Governor's Office. It is our utmost concern to deliver a quality program with the safety of our scouts and scouters in mind. We are working with the Council Risk Management Committee and board members to determine if we can safely operate the program. Our plan is to have a firm determination by May 22nd, if not before. Also, rest assured that our camp team has been diligently planning several program paths in order to stay ahead of this situation, and we will have a quality scouting program for our scouts in Connecticut. So again, thank you for your time and effort, and we appreciate all you're doing, and scout on. Thanks, Chip.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you for all you do. I appreciate everything that you've done, and I want to wish you good luck as you move on to your next meeting that you have to run. Always a busy man. Thank you very much. With that, welcome to our Scouts BSA members who are drawing in, and I want to welcome our council executive, our CEO, Mr. Stephen Smith. Steve.
Well, thanks, Chip and Dave for doing the program tonight. It's really been, I really appreciate it. It's hard to believe that 52 days ago, we all got word that we were going to start working out of our homes. And 52 days later, this is our second roundtable. And as I looked at the numbers, it looks like there's over 180 people watching the roundtable right now. If you compare it to last month, we had about 180 people watch it, but over the next 48 hours, we had 2,800 people watch the roundtable, which is incredible. It's a whole new way to deliver a program to our leaders, and it's something we should be proud of. And Chip and Dave's, you did a wonderful job putting this together, and even Kevin had a piece to say thank you to. There's a saying that we're all in the same boat, but we're not. We're actually all in the same storm. Every one of us, this pandemic has affected differently. Some of us have children that were graduating that are going to miss graduations. Some of us have kids that are going to miss that first week of summer camp if summer camp isn't held. And it's something that they've been waiting on for years to go to Webster or Mattituck or Wyoming. And that's something they've dreamed about. And that's something that we as leaders need to understand and support these kids. And even some of the adults, as they go through the phases of acceptance. Some have gone through denial and anger. And it's very much the stages that they all go through as they're working through what's going on. That's especially hard for the kids. They're not really sure they understand why they feel the way they do. And they don't understand that. They just know there's something big and bad and scary out there, but they can't see. They can't feel, they can't touch. But people aren't living because of it. And that's where we as Scout leaders can truly help them, where we can truly be that support for them. We can be that role model for them of how to deal with it. And it's hard. That's where we have to reach into our inner strength and pull it out and help these kids through a not great situation and help them see that there's actually going to be light at the end of the tunnel. There's going to be other camps. There's going to be bigger camps. It might be a time to talk about the Jamboree next year and the excitement that goes around with that, or high adventure bases of Philmont and the Sea Base. And those are perfect opportunities where you can get online and you can bring up a program and show them that there's bigger things coming in their scouting career. I want to thank all of you, what you've done. In the last 52 days, I've seen more imaginative programs than I've probably seen in my entire career. And the Scout leaders keep rising to the occasion and keep thinking up new and better things, better ways to deliver program, just entirely different ways of delivering program that, quite honestly, 60 days ago, we would have said it'll never work. And it does work, and it has been working. So again, I want to thank all of you for everything you do for our kids to make the best program possible in the US. I certainly get a lot of phone calls from across the country of how are you doing this? And they're taking a lot of notes on how great our leaders are as we're pulling together to put together the program. So thank you again. And Chip, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Alrighty, thank you, Mr. Smith. And I also want to extend my thanks to Kevin, who's behind the scenes, as well as Sean Fogel, and everybody else at the Connecticut Rivers Council team. They've been doing an outstanding job in this time of crisis. There's no better way to explain it or to describe it. And I really thank them and everybody involved, professionals, volunteers, everybody involved, for continuing the mission of the Boy Scouts of America. Thank you very much. With that being said, I'm going to introduce our next guest, who is an expert in the field of scouting with special needs. She is coming from the recommendation of many members of the committee for scouting with special needs. And I know she's got some very good information to share with us. And I'd like to bring forth Ms. Jacqueline Alexander.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I would love to follow up on some of the messages I've just been hearing about how scouting builds resilient youth. Because as we look at the challenges that are facing our youth right now, scouting has the potential to raise youth who can be strong people, who have the confidence to be resilient, and in facing challenges in their own lives, to overcome dealing with bullying or being picked on by others. And I was asked tonight to talk about some of the challenges that special needs individuals might face, particularly related to bullying. And, you know, over the last few years, I've had the pleasure of working with 4 Eagle Scouts who I've watched them grow and develop confidence and become strong young men who didn't always have an easy time of it, but who learned the skills to overcome challenges. So what I'd like to do tonight is start with a quick definition of bullying, various forms, and then talk a little bit about vulnerable populations and suggestions for how to manage it. So if I give you a textbook definition, bullying is unwanted aggressive behavior where there is an observed or perceived power imbalance. And it can be done directly, where you have individuals face to face. It can be indirect, such as the spreading of rumors. Both can be equally destructive, but those are their 2 forms. There are 4 types of bullying. I think we're all very familiar with physical, where people physically harm others to control. Verbal, where cruel things are said. Relational, and this is where people try to harm others' relationships. Often it becomes related to popularity contests. And then damage to property. We've seen graffiti and, you know, damage to physical property, but that also goes into the cyberbullying realm, where people might hack into others' accounts and misrepresent them online. Usually the people who are most vulnerable to bullying are perceived as different from their peers. They have differences that might make them stand out. They might be overweight, they might wear glasses, they might dress differently, In the case of special needs individuals, they may have social skills deficits where they are struggling to interpret what we call pragmatic language, jokes, the punchlines to jokes, cliches. If you say this, it's raining cats and dogs, they might run to the window to look for it. I once had a boy who became an Eagle Scout who was very vulnerable, and fortunately, his den mates took good care of him, but he was vulnerable out in the general population. Typically, people who are perceived as weak and unable to defend themselves are excessively vulnerable. More and more, we are seeing individuals who are anxious, who are depressed, or have low self-esteem. And they are excessively vulnerable. People seem to pick up on others' anxieties, and anxiety can make everybody uncomfortable. A lot of times when I work with individuals who are highly anxious, one of the first complaints they say is that other people are uncomfortable around them. And it's true. But oftentimes with youth, the anxious child becomes the one who is targeted because they make others uncomfortable with their own discomfort. Another element is people who don't get along well with others, who are annoying, are often the subject of bullying because they are someone that others want to almost extinguish as far for the verbal perspective. The individuals who are more likely to become bullies are usually kids who have strong social connections. They have a perspective of having some social power. They're very concerned about their popularity, and they like to be in charge. That's one type of bully. The other type we have is the student who's isolated, who might be depressed or anxious and is looking to target someone else to make them feel as bad as they do. So we have two different power points that people are coming from with the same result of hurting those who are vulnerable. There are a few strategies we can use that can really make a huge difference in the lives of individuals who are struggling with fitting in or being bullied. The first thing is to clearly define that picking on others is unacceptable. One of the great things about scouting is how everyone works together. What's impressed me most over the years is seeing some kids who are very weak socially in their academic environments, who have a whole world in scouting that is more accepting and tolerant of who they are. They can succeed in working towards the various awards, the team building that comes out of it. But a lot of times, individuals haven't been clearly told that it's unacceptable to pick on others. So as leaders, it's always important to make sure that those, under your guidance, have a clear understanding of that. Keeping lines of communication open so that kids know it's okay to tell someone if they're having a hard time. There's a big difference between being a tattletale and being a reporter. A reporter is accurate. They are looking to make a situation better, and the reporter is willing to work to do that. A tattletale just wants it to go away or is looking to instigate. So it's important that you tell your students and youth the difference and what your expectations are. Encouraging kids to do what they love builds the most confidence in them. So in a world of scouting, look at all you can offer them. And you have the opportunity to help kids build up confidence in areas where they may not always have the opportunity. Some kids with special needs really struggle in the academic environment or in a purely social environment. You have a way of integrating the opportunities for them to tie all of that together with guidance. And that can help build strong, confident, and resilient individuals. And by modeling kindness and respect, you provide an environment where kids can feel safe and no expectations, and where they can strive to be their best selves. Disabilities or not, everyone has potential, and everyone can reach their potential with the right guidance. Ignoring doesn't fix bullying. It just slides it under a rug. In an ideal world, everyone would be nurtured so that they build up their self-esteem and confidence. In the absence of that in the real world, it's important that in our organizations, that our leaders look out for those who might be a little bit different, who might have certain struggles, and always look for what are the individual's strengths. Every individual has them. Some of them might be harder to find, but as leaders, taking a kid under your wing and looking for what is their particular strength? How can I put this individual in a role where they can shine, builds confidence, and allows that individual to learn how to navigate the world from a social perspective, and to be a productive individual who's resilient and confident. So, special needs are not an issue to be wary of. If you identify what they are and look for the strengths and have your teams work together, you can certainly provide a very nurturing environment that builds very strong youth who can reach their potential. So I'd like to open it for any questions you might have that I can respond to.
Jackie, I'm watching the Facebook feed. I haven't seen anything pop through just yet, but
Okay.
We'll watch it here for a moment. And just so you know, there's a little bit of a delay, so they're hearing that you're asking for questions now.
I've been thumbing through. I haven't seen any. I've seen a couple of comments, but no specific questions. Just some people relating their children's stories. Mm-hmm. And I've gone through and I've lost them all because I've scrolled through about 300 comments. So,
a neat one that I'm seeing here, Chip, is from Carolyn Janis, who says, Cubs Who Care was an awesome elective to do with the Wolves to help address bullying and acceptance. So if you want to learn more about that, that might be a good resource for everybody. Excellent.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm probably zoomed right by that one. I apologize. Miss Alexander, I'm going to, if I'm going to keep my eye on this. If I see any questions pop up for you, I'll zip them over to you through email, because I don't want to keep you as we progress through the rest of the program. But I really do thank you for this information that you've shared with us. I know personally that bullying can be extremely detrimental, whether it's physical, verbal. It's nothing that should be taken lightly, and I really do appreciate you getting this information out for all of our scouters. As Mr. Smith said earlier, there may be about 185 people online right now, but this is going to be viewed by nearly 3,000 people, if not more. So thank you very much for allowing us your time.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much, and have a great night.
You too.
Well, here's one. From our own Mr. Charles Copeland. How do scout leaders report bullying? So we do have the number, and I'm forgetting that. That is the one phone number that is everybody learns, and it is easy to access.
Chip, are you talking about the Scouts First hotline?
Yes, that's the number I'm talking about. Do you have that handy?
I don't. Of course.
So basically, the easiest way to report bullying is look up the Scouts First on Google, or call your district executive, or your unit commissioner has access to it. Unfortunately, I'm trying to access it right now, and under the pressure that I have, I'm not getting it. I apologize, but everybody's got it. I have it on a business card in my wallet from summer camp. It is all over the scout camps. It's everywhere you go. It is a big initiative to ensure that people have access to report bullying in scouts and scouting. So if you're having an issue, please call that number. It is I believe it's a nationally provided number, so it's not just local. And this is the first, before you call anybody, they want you to call this number to report it. And then you go on as needed. So it's taken very seriously. And
Yep.
very, very.
That phone number is 888-726-8871, and I will post that to the Facebook feed.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Smith and Mr. Copeland. Your help was greatly appreciated. Oof. All right, now that I'm off the hot seat, let's move along to our next topic. So, Kevin, should I give you it's 844-726-8871. And I know the feeling very well, Mr. Smith. Large fingers do hit the button too many times. So once again, 844-726-8871. Thank you. Kevin, do you have the PowerPoint for April that you wanted to pull up? Or should we?
It's coming up right now.
All right. Excellent. Thank you, Kevin. I was expecting, one of your, I was expecting one of Jay Messier's 20-minute Monster Mash videos with his action figures. But thank you. Moving right along, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mark Schneider, who is completing or working on completing his Wood Badge ticket. He has some helpful links that he'd like to share with you guys. And take it away, Mr. Schneider.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to adjust my camera here. So, first of all, my name is Mark Schneider from part of the N26619 Wood Badge class. So I'm actually going to take off my Wood Badge hat, put on my Bob White hat. Shout out to all the Bob Whites. We are the Bob Whites, mighty, mighty Bob Whites. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is when I was coming up with my ticket items for Wood Badge, one of the things I knew I wanted to put together seemed small in nature, but something that I thought would be very useful. And when I first started as a leader, common questions that I would get from others, and also question had to figure out myself is, where do I go to sign up for an event? Where do I go to sign up for Blue Training or summer camp? Where do I go to enter all the awards and advancements or view them? What do you mean there's a place other than Scout Book we have to go to enter service hours? How do I take training? How do I complete the youth protection training? How do I download flyers and other marketing material? So what I put together is a concise document, kind of meant to be a cheat sheet that is essentially a reference of different websites that you're able to go to that mostly are official BSA sites. Some are just reference sites. So I want to share that what I put together. So I'm going to share my screen here, and that's not what I. So there we go. So basically, what I put together is different websites organized by specific topics. First is, organizations, facilities, events. Obviously, ctscouting.org, the council's website. Scoutingevent.com. That's for council and district event registration. And actually, one thing I found with that, scoutingevent.com, if you go to it, at least from a mobile device, it worked for me, you get a map of the United States. And on there, you could select a council with a little pin, and it will show you events going on, all over the country. So if you need to take Baloo training, but does not offer currently in council, and you want to go, to New Jersey or Pennsylvania or Massachusetts, you could actually use that to see other events that are going on outside council. Obviously, for facilities, our different camps, go to webster.org, Camp Matatuck, and Camp Wacomin. Obviously, scouting.org, which is the Boy Scouts of America official website. And really important, which I actually made use of for a international presentation that I did for my scouts as part of my diversity ticket, scout.org. It's the World Organization of the Scout Movement, and it gives you information about how scouting is done all over the world. My next category is basically websites to manage your unit and do reporting. Obviously, big one, scoutbook.com. Record your advancements and awards. Create a unit calendar. Also, a forum to ask questions, answer questions. My.scouting.org. View your profile, access the training center. This is where you go to if you want to see which one of your leaders have completed their YPT or are nearing expiration. Which of your leaders have taken that training? How do you update your PIN, which is when somebody goes to beascout.org and they search by their zip code and the units come up. This is the text and information that will present for your unit. So that's where you could update that text. ScoutNet, where you go to complete your internet recharting on an annual basis. And also service hours, that's scouting.org. This is where, for Journey to Excellence, you need to report your service hours. So not just the service hours section in Scoutbook, but also this is where it needs to go to for Journey to Excellence. Then section on unit marketing, fundraising, and purchases. Obviously, beascout.org is, for families interested in scouting. Scoutingwire.org. It's one of the BSA official blogs, and it's also where you could access basically BSA branding items and marketing items, get the official logos. If you need templates for flyers or pamphlets, videos, put on your Facebook page and so forth. This is where you get all your marketing material. Obviously, scoutshop.org, where you need to purchase items, and trailsn.com, which is the resource for popcorn sales. It's Trails End because next year we're going from Camp Masters to Trails End. And then some additional resources, scoutingmagazine.org. Everybody gets that magazine every month. This is the online edition to it. And then the blog part of it, which everybody has heard about, sure, Brian on Scouting. Brian on Scouting is actually part of Scouting Magazine. Of course, Boys Life. Boys Life, I've actually pulled a lot of stuff from the website to use in meetings. Especially there's a lot of short stories on there that you could use to read to some of the younger Cubs. And then this is one that I found that is not an official BSA website, but I found very useful, USSscouts.org. This basically has a load of information on anything that you could want: programs, awards, advancements, skits, songs, stories. There's links after links, so it's just a big data warehouse of information. So again, this is something I put together kind of as a quick reference guide. Obviously, it doesn't go into the details of the navigation on each website and so forth, but it's something that would be good to give out to new leaders, give out to your current leaders, make available in your in your unit materials. So if anybody is interested in this, just send me an email and I will share it with you. My email is marks79@comcast.net. Again, marks79@comcast.net. And I'll also send this over to Chip and Sean to see if they could post it on the council Facebook page as well. So thank you for your time, and I will turn it back to Chip.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's great seeing you. Great hearing from you. Great information. A lot of those websites I've been using for years take great information from it. I know that it can be overwhelming for a new or newer leader, or even an old timer who's got years and years of experience. It can be overwhelming trying to keep track of everything or get inspiration for new activities. So there are websites out there to help, and a lot of there's a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of other, we used to call them listservs back in the day, but there's a lot of opportunities to talk with other people and network. So please, I will get that from Mark, and we'll share it with everybody in an appropriate manner. Thank you again, Mark. At this time, I'd like to bring up, it looks like our illustrious Lodge Chief is here with us, who has some news. I know that there's some sad news to report, Alex. Well, take it away, Alex.
All right, thank you. So before we get started, my name is Alex Pillis. For those who I have not had the pleasure to meet so far, I'm the Shaitani Lodge Chief of the Order of the Arrow. So that means I'm kind of in charge of the Order of the Arrow, which is Scouting's National Honor Society for Connecticut Rivers Council. So there's been a lot of stuff that's been going on recently with the OA. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that, as well as kind of fill you in from if you are an OA member or if you're not. For those who aren't OA members or not sure what the OA is, it's Scouting's National Honor Society, and it's composed of the scouts and scouters who best exemplify the Scout Oath and law in their daily lives. So, and they get elected by their peers. And the biggest thing the Order of the Arrow can bring back to you guys as troop members is the fact that the Order of the Arrow is a service-based unit, but we also, or is a service-based organization, but we also teach leadership skills. So our goal is to teach your scouts leadership skills and have them bring them back to the troop. So my troop specific, or the unit, my bad. Me specifically, I'm a member of Troop 52 in Oakville, Connecticut. And there's been a lot of changes, as Chip said, good things and bad things. The biggest things right now is the National Order of the Arrow office has allowed us to do virtual unit elections. So if you would like to hold a unit election, we can now do those over a Zoom call or the web meeting database of your choosing, whether it be WebEx. I know some people like that better. You just have to make sure you let one of the lodge members know, whether it be on your local chapter or the lodge. I'll have a little bit of contact information at the end if you guys are more interested on that. Some other changes we've had is changes in the eligibility requirements to be elected into the Order of the Arrow. So if you could forgive me, I'm just going to read it off of my paper really quick just because I want to make sure I get it right. So the big thing now is virtual camping can be counted. So as of right now, one of the requirements to be in the Order of the Arrow is to camp for 10 days and nights. So while we're in this pandemic right now and there's not any troop camping trips like together as a unit or troop, my bad, you can use virtual camping, but you're only allowed to count 3 nights a month. So that's a little bit confusing. And the other thing is candidates that were elected or had their unit election and were elected have 24 months over the usual 12 months to complete their ordeal. So that means from February 1st, 2019 to July 1st, 2020, those people elected in that range have 24 months to complete their ordeal. So as far as our events goes, much like the council, we've had to cancel or postpone a lot of our events. The biggest few things are our ordeals coming up, and the first two that were in May and very early June have been canceled as of right now. We are hoping to have one later in June, and we're also exploring some other possible plans for summer ordeals. And we still have our ordeals planned for the fall. A little bit of the news on the national events. What I believe Chip was talking about before was NOAC, the National Order of the Arrow Conference. So what that is basically airmen come from all over the nation over to where it was supposed to be at Michigan State University this year. And it's kind of like a national jamboree for the Order of the Arrow. So unfortunately, with all the restrictions in place right now and other factors, they've had to cancel NOAC, but they also created this new event that they're going to hold at the summit because they have a little more space to spread people out and go by social distancing guidelines. And that is now called Momentum. So for those who have already paid money, I know there's probably not many of you guys on this call or on the live stream, but for those that does affect, you can get your refund. You can transfer that refund over to Momentum. And all those details would be coming out very, very soon. This is still new, even on the national level, so we don't have too many details on that right now. So some other things we've been doing is we've been trying to push our online presence, just like the council has been. We have one of our vice chiefs, Sean Mann, from Cheshire. He's been running our social media pages, doing a great job trying to keep our airmen involved. Some other things. So just like scouting right now, we're still active. We're still trying to keep our members as active as possible. And that means dues are still payable. So for us, the dues are payable to, on the council website, there's two options. There's the basic, which is $16, and that just pays your dues. There's also the option for $100, and that's for, you get attendance to every event during the year, plus you get a special edition patch. So that means that any OA member in the past, whether it be in 1947 or in 2018, that hasn't paid their dues, you can still pay your dues. You're still an Order of the Arrow member as long as you pay your dues. I just want everyone to keep that in mind. Another few things, we do have ways to keep in contact with you. Just like the council, we have our own email system. If you guys are not receiving Lodge emails, please let Dave Gorick or Haas Haskell know. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We post all of our information there. That's the best way to keep up to date with Lodge news. And that's pretty much all the big things we've been doing lately. We're still like the council. We got to kind of move as this all develops. We're not exactly sure where we're going with all this, but that'll come in time. So if you guys have any questions about that, you can send it in the chats. Chip can let me know. Besides that, you can either go on ccscouting.org/Shatani Lodge or at OABSA. That can answer pretty much all of your questions you need. Or you can email myself at alexpillis123@gmail.com. Just remember a disclaimer, I'm 17, so please follow YPP rules when you're doing that. But besides that, if you have any questions about the Order of the Arrow or anything that has come or that has to do with the Order of the Arrow, I know through the Order of the Arrow, I've met some of my best friends in scouting. I've traveled with the Order of the Arrow, going to places like Dallas, to NOAC 2 years ago at Indiana State University. It's provided me with opportunities that that I will forever be thankful for, along with scouting and the council. So if any of you guys have any questions, let me know. Screenshot this page just in case. But thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Alex. As always, it's a pleasure hearing from you. You do a great job representing the Lodge. You should be commended. You are an upstanding youth leader. Keep going. You've got a great future ahead of you. With that being said, it is now 8:05, and it seems like we've killed yet another successful night. As the flyer slowly fades away, I'd like to thank you all for joining and just share a little bit of a thought with you. And of course, I just went too far. All right. Where did it go? It's right here. If you think you're beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win but you think you can't, it's almost for sure you won't. If you're thinking you've lost, you have. Far out in the world we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all in your state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You have to stay with it in order to win the prize. Life's battle don't always go to the one with a better plan. For more often than not, you will win, if only you think you can. With that, thank you very much. Have a great night. And as always, you can reach me at bigchefchip@yahoo.com with any questions. Thank you very much.